We all know what you're supposed to do with your money. You're supposed to save what you can. Don't spend more than you can afford. Pay down your debt, but it's never, of course, easy. What are you supposed to do? What kind of tricks can you use? It'll get your finances in tip-top shape. We have just the person for you, Lama Ferran, a personal finance coach, financial health expert, and she's fantastic, and she's right here in studio right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Tommy.
Lama, what are some tips that you often give to people when they can't get their personal finances in good shape? What would you tell them to do? How do you start?
Well, you have to know where, I look at financial health like it's a journey. If you don't know where you're going, how do you know that you got there in the first place?
Right.
So let's say you get in the car, you have a GPS, you put an address in there. The address is your destination. And the GPS is going to tell you how far away you are and then adjust the route depending on traffic. So it's the same thing with financial health. You have to put goals for yourself. People just expect life to take them to this prosperous, happy ever after place without really ever sitting down and defining it and looking at what is it that I'm trying to achieve here.
I recall a number of years ago, many years ago, when I was in debt and seriously debt. I didn't know what to do and where to go and how to start. And somebody suggested to me to take just a plain notebook. This is pre-internet. Take a plain notebook and write down what your debt is. Okay, to this credit card, $700. And the next page, the next thing, and next thing. And to have one page for each of your debts, whether it's personal or credit card, etc. And then pay off something. Start off with the high interest rate cards first. And then, so if it says $700 minus 50 equals 650. And just to keep doing that. And then when the whole you had another page where you had all of them listed. And as soon as one was paid off, you crossed that out.
Yeah.
Was
Actually,
that
it's
goal
funny.
set?
Yeah, well, kind of goal setting, but this is what I say. It's the part that I call the facing your debts, is when you're gonna sit down and write all of them, write all the interest rates, try to optimize them by moving things around to the lower interest rates and things like that. But when I'm talking about goals, like, one of the goals could be debt payment.
Pay down debt. Right.
That's right. But what a goal, like pay down debt, I find it's not a very specific goal. Like goals have to be defined in a smart way. And what I mean by smart, I don't mean intelligent. SMART is an acronym, SMART.
Okay.
Now, what it stands for is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So
let's get this again. We've got specific, measurable, what's the A?
Attainable.
Right, and?
Relevant, and time-bound.
Okay.
So let's say you have a certain goal. You're going to sit down and say, okay, specific. I'm going to define it in specific terms. What do I want to accomplish? Why? Who's involved? Where? How? The measurable, it's how much or how many. Put a measure on it. Otherwise, how are you going to know you got there, right? The attainable is something that can't be realistically, it has to be realistic.
It's not going to pay, I'm going to pay $80,000
Exactly.
just when you don't have it, right?
Exactly.
So you'd say what it was, how much you want to pay, over how long a period of time.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by relevant?
Relevant, it has to be something true to yourself, true to your situation, your lifestyle, and everything. So it's really, it's true to who you are. And the time bound is the deadline. So, when I hear somebody saying my goal is to retire rich, I'm sorry, that's not a goal. That's just a wishy-washy dream. A goal, like if you want to put it in smart terms, you would say, I want to accumulate $2 million in assets, investments, and properties by the time I retire at the age of 60 and be completely debt-free and be living in the Bahamas. You can't get more specific than that.
Right.
So versus I just want to retire rich.
Aha.
Now, the other thing with goals is also you're going to have some short-term goals that you want to accomplish, let's say, in the next year. You're going to have some that are going to be a bit longer, like medium term, maybe 3 to 5 years, and some that are going to be longer term, 5 to 10 years, for example. So in each of these categories, for example, the short-term goal could be, I want to save $1,000 in my rainy day fund from now till December 2015, right? So you know where you're heading.
Right.
Medium term could be, I'm going to pay off $20,000 on my credit card. Long term, I'm going to have that much money in my RSPs. So, and then when you're sitting down and you're going through your goals, you're going to have multiple goals for each time period. So next question is, what are the priorities? Okay, because you can't accomplish everything at the same time. So you have to be clear on, okay, so this is high priority for me right now. This is maybe high minus, this is medium,
Right.
this is low. And then from there, the important thing is, okay, fine, you went through the goal setting exercise, you have them down. Don't just put the piece of paper in a drawer and forget about it. You have to keep it in your face every day. And what I tell people is write them on a little post-it note and stick it in your wallet, because it's going to be in your face every day that way. And the other important thing about goals is,
So you stick it on a credit card? Would that help? Yeah.
Actually, talking about a credit card,
Yes.
I give this little thing, which the audience can't see, unfortunately. It's like a little sleeve
Yes.
that I tell my clients to enter their credit card in them. On the back, they can write the most important goal for them, so that anytime they're pulling out the credit card, they can see that goal in their face. And this is the important thing, is to really align the way you're spending money with those goals. If your goal is to pay off your credit card and then you're eating out every day, well, that's really not aligning your goals with where your money's going.
This is unbelievable. It's a little paper sleeve. This is really, on one side, it says, my most important goal now is, and you write it over there. And inside, you would put your credit card. And it says, before pulling, there's a stop sign on it. And it says, before pulling out this card, ask yourself, do I absolutely need this now? Can I postpone my purchase? Can I truly afford it? Can I get it cheaper or free elsewhere? Will it move me closer to my goal? Will it make me genuinely happier? It's excellent. I'm thinking, let's say you're going to Winners, you're going down the aisle and you see a sweater, and this sweater fits you. Get that. And it was $120, and now it's reduced to $80 and reduced to $60 and reduced to $40. So, okay, this is wonderful. Take out the credit card, and you look at that. Do I need this? No. Can I postpone it? Absolutely. I'm only buying it because it's on sale. Can I afford it? Yeah. Can I get it cheaper? Yes. Will it move me closer to my goal to have this sweater? The color I don't really like all that much. Will it make me genuinely happier? The answer is no. So I think that what would happen is you'd put your card
back in.
Right back in, and put the sweater right back.
Yes.
What a miracle little folder you have
it's
here.
a very good tool. And what I say about, you buying the sweater because it's 60% off, well, guess what? You save 100% when you don't buy it.
She is the best. My guest is Lama Farhan. The website, you got to check it out, maxworth.ca. Last time you were here, you told me about that Minimalist.
I love this
what's
guy,
it called?
Becoming Minimalist?
Becoming Minimalist. We interviewed the guy running that blog. It's excellent. Really, these are very practical. Her advice, I think, I really like it because it's very, very
it's
everyday and practical.
stuff.
Yeah, it's very practical. Now, what about setting the right financial goals? What about, for people who don't know how to set those goals, or what goal they should set in the first place?
Well, you look at your finances. What do you want to achieve, really? Like, is it just becoming debt-free? Fine. Maybe that was going to be your first goal. And then after that, what kind of life would you like to have? The way to define your goals is look at money as something, as if it wasn't an issue. What would you do in your life if money was not an issue? And then try to work towards that. That should be your ultimate goal, really.
If you have any questions for Lama Farhan about your financial health, give us a call. Text your question to 514-800. As people try to do this, to figure out their finances, Lama, what's the major mistake they make?
They avoid it. They avoid looking at it, really.
Right.
I've been dealing with a lot of couples lately, and I'm like, so how do you deal with money? They're like, well, guess what? We just don't talk about it, because the minute we talk about it, we start fighting. Or even if somebody who's single, they don't look at it because it makes them anxious. So the way to deal with your anxiety is not to avoid it, is to actually look at it and to do something about it, because the bills are not going anywhere. The credit card is not going anywhere unless you do something about it. So open your eyes.
Your questions about your financial health for Lama Farhan, an excellent website. Jot it down, maxworth.ca. This texter wants good, strong advice. Keep her talking. So, Lama,
Okay,
we're
I'll keep talking.
We'll keep you talking. This one says, what about consolidating all your debts with a low-interest monthly payment loan?
Yeah, that one I get a lot. the thing with consolidation, I used to do them at the bank when I was working at the bank. It's a good idea. You pay less interest, but, and it comes with a big but, you have to understand what got you in this situation to start with and make sure that you're changing your behavior so that in 2 years from now, you don't find yourself needing another consolidation loan. And this is where a lot of people get trapped, is this, it feels easy when you get the consolidation loan, your credit cards are empty, you just have one low payment, and then a couple of years later, you're back exactly where you were.
Now, people are still responsible for themselves, but things have changed at the banks. I recall a number of years ago, actually decades ago, when you got a consolidation loan, they'd ask you to come in with the credit cards and they cut them up with scissors in front of you. Yeah. Now they don't bother. You keep all the cards and they'll give you more credit.
Yes and no. They do cancel some cards sometimes as a condition to your loan. It'll be like, okay, you have to cancel this and this and that. But guess what? 2 weeks later, you're going to turn around, you're going to have a new application waiting in your mailbox. So yes, the bank is going to cancel some, but you just turn around and then you can apply for another one. So it's really up to you to make sure that you don't find yourself in the same position again.
What can impulse buyers do to curb their bad habit other than getting your wonderful sleeve for their credit card?
It's the number one tool that I find really works is applying a cooling off period. Okay, so it's an impulse. So it means that really you don't want it right now. So you can easily wait 2 days before you buy it. So just go home, leave it in the store. 2 days after, if you're still thinking about it.
Lama, what if it's gone? What if somebody else grabs it while I'm not there?
Then it's not meant for you. And you know what? The best question to ask yourself when you see something, it's not how much does this cost, is how many hours of my life do I have to work to pay for it? Because when we look at something as $20 or $30, like, oh, whatever. But if you look at it as like, wait a minute, I have to work like 2 hours. I have to spend 2 hours of my life to work to pay for this thing. Then, you look at it differently.
Is it worth it or not? Right.
Is it worth it? Is it worth me spending that many hours away from my family working to buy this thing? So just convert it not in terms of money, but in terms of hours of work of your life.
Last time you were here, you were telling us about your son and the 20 points he has because he's got money saved up already.
Yeah, he does.
How's he doing? How's his point system going?
It's going great because now he's really on top of his things since school started. And actually, it's just this morning I was telling him, you've been saving a lot. Are you going to spend it at some point?
Yes.
And he couldn't come up with one thing to spend it on. I was like, okay, that's like, we'll have to work on that now.
So he didn't want to buy a new toy?
No.
How old is he?
He's 6.
6.
And it's funny because I was having the conversation in the car with him this morning. I'm like, so how are you going to spend all that money that you have? He's like, I don't know.
How much did he put away?
He has over $200. I owe him some stuff. We have to add up the points.
And he gets points. What does he get points for doing?
Well, the homework now. He has the homework has to be done in half an hour, not 3 hours.
Is he eager to do the homework because he's getting the points?
He does. He got 3 points for the homework yesterday and practicing his piano. He got 1 for going into the shower without me asking 10 times in a row. It's all these different things.
She's brilliant. Lama Farhan, my guest, the website MaxWorth.ca. This one says, Tommy, this woman is too smart. You've got to invite her at least once a week. Thank you. Lama, you're very popular.
You.
Financial help expert Lama Farhan, my guest, the website MaxWorth.ca. And by the way, if you miss any names or titles or book titles or addresses, don't worry. Just go to my show page at cjad.com if you need information on any of our guests. This text is saying, I wish my wife were listening right now. If you have a situation like that texter, the husband wants to save money, the wife wants to spend money, or the other way around, what advice do you have?
It's really going back to understanding where they both come from. And funny enough, I'm doing now a whole training on helping couples communicate around money. And he wants to save because he was brought up that way. And, she wants to spend because stuff happened, it always goes back to childhood, the way she was brought up. And so it's really digging deeper than we're just not communicating well with money, and going back and understanding where she comes from, where he comes from, and what kind of feelings does she bring up in him when he's spending, right? It might be a sense of fear, a sense that we're not going to have enough, we're not going to retire. So it's communicating beyond the, you went and spent $100 on a pair of shoes.
Do you think sometimes people find it difficult to be specific. In other words, they can understand saying, oh, I want to be debt free, I want to have a lot of money, and I want to go on lots of vacations, and that they have trouble getting it to be more specific.
Yes, but
That they don't know what to say. They don't know how to actually set the goal.
Well, this is one of the things that I do help my clients do, is sit down and do this goal setting with them, because they never sit down and do it by themselves, or they can't think in terms of, the SMART acronym or things like that. But the other thing you can ask yourself is, what are my values? What do I value the most? Forget about money for a minute. What do I value the most? And then go back to, how can I match the way I spend money and the way I manage my money with those values?
So give me some samples of those values that come up.
For example, if one of the values is family, okay, so you want to spend some of your money towards your family. It could be that, okay, as a family, we're going to go on a yearly trip, or as a family, we're going to do this. But try to work your way back from the value to what it really means. And then it'll be more meaningful the way you spend your money. And then you'll be okay if you don't buy the thing because it doesn't fit the value of family, right? Because the shopping, for example.
I missed the part with her son. Points for money. How many points do I get him? How much money? Sounds like the only way I'll get my girls to do anything.
It's 20 points for $5. Well, again, he's 6 years old.
Right.
Maybe if his daughters are a bit older, they might need a bit more. I don't know. And it's also setting the expectation of, what do you expect them to cover with it, right? Is it going to be just their toys? Is it just going to be their movies? Is it going to be their lunches? What is it that you want them to cover with that money?
Allowance, good idea?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Even in exchange for doing nothing?
I don't know if in exchange of doing that.
No.
This is like working for... No.
No, not at Lama's place.
No, exactly. You're starting to know me now.
Yeah, Lama Ferran, my guest, she's terrific. Check it out, her website, maxworth.ca.